that by telling that the Turiya is the fourth, what does it mean? The Turiya is the, by telling Turiya, Prathama Pada, Dvitiya Pada, Tritiya Pada, then the Chaturtha Pada is the Turiya, isn't it? Okay. By telling that, what is, why one has to tell it is fourth? Because by that, Turiya is indicated. Turiya is indicated. But Turiya cannot be, there is something called Turiya, and which is the fourth one, which is not the first, which is not the second, which is not third, but it is fourth. But to know the Turiya, we have to do the Nisedha, the first, second, and third. Two things are happening. First, we are indicating the existence of Turiya, and second part is knowing the Turiya. Suppose I'll take a stick and I'll show to the sky and will tell, do you see the pole star? I'll tell yes. Then what is the pole star? Which is the pole star? Then it is not Kratu, it is not Pulaha, it is not Pulastya, it is not Atri, it is not Angira, it is not Vasistha. All these things are told. Then only, because there are so many things are there. When there are so many things, that one thing what we are trying to point it out will get lost in all the things. So there are, that's why the Pratisedhatmaka Bhakyas. That means one which is called a Pratisedha Vijnana, that has to be used. That's why na has to be used. Is it clear to everybody? Okay. First is indicating the Turiya by telling it is a fourth, by telling it is na, Vishwa, na, Tajas, na, Prajna. It is, that means we understand the Turiya clearly. We will not mix it. And in our meditation, when we meditate, at that time, all the things in the gross world, all the experiences come to our mind. That means at that time I am in the Vishwa. Then whatever I have dreamed before, those things come. Or I sit in the meditation and we dream different things, imagine different things. The prajna, at the time I am the prajna. Then when mind is calm and quiet, neither I am imagining nor I am remembering the waking state experiences or waking state objects. At that time, everything has become a bundle of knowledge, not knowledge of something. In the waking state, it is knowledge of something. In the dream state, it is knowledge of something. But in the deep sleep state, it is, we cannot tell it is pure knowledge. It is only knowledge. Why it is knowledge, not pure knowledge? Pure knowledge is devoid of even the rudimentary state of objects. Let me repeat. I hope you are paying attention. Like when in the waking state, I tell, this is a tree. And when I'm closing my eyes, also I'll tell, oh, I saw a tree. I saw a person. I saw my uncle. These things will come, isn't it? That there are two parts. Knowledge plus tree. Knowledge plus uncle. So that means that knowledge is mixed with something else. That knowledge is not knowledge itself. That is the knowledge of something in the waking state. And if you some little more clarification you need, then please raise your hand or raise your finger so that I can repeat that one. In the dream state also the same thing. Because when we dream, whatever we see in the waking state, the impression of that only is in the dream state. So the dream state, I also, oh, this is a tree. I saw the tree. I saw a tiger. I went to that party. I ate this one. So again, the knowledge plus something is there. So knowledge of is there. But when you come to the deep sleep state, there is no knowledge of something, but that of something, everything has become like unmanifest. It is there. It is there. The division is there, but the division has become unmanifest. That's why in the deep sleep state, we cannot recognize who is your father, who is your mother, or we cannot think of, we cannot dream of parents, we cannot dream of the enemy or friend, because friend, enemy, mom, dad, everything has become one. As though it has become one. Actually, that division is there. So that knowledge is not pure knowledge. That's why it is called the prajnana ghana. Prajnana ghana. As though it has become a mass of knowledge. Mass of what kind of knowledge? Unmanifested knowledge. We cannot distinguish. We cannot distinguish. Oh, but this is tree. This is stone. This is bird. This is tiger. We cannot distinguish in the deep sleep state. The distinction is not there. But that doesn't mean that all the distinction is gone and there is only oneness is there. No, otherwise when we get up from the deep sleep, will be realized that Dvaita is still there, but that Dvaita stays in the unmanifested. That's why it is called Prajnana Ghana. Not Prajna. It is not Prajna. Prajnana Ghana. It is a concentrated mass of knowledge. That is the word, that is the term they use to differentiate from Prajna. Prajnana Ghana is distinguished from Prajnana Ghana. From Prajnana Ghana is distinguished from the Prajna. Prajna is the consciousness, is the pure knowledge, pure awareness, which is the knowledge without any kind of division. Okay. So na has to be used just by telling that Turiya is fourth is not sufficient. It is indicated there is something called Turiya. But na, everywhere na is used because that tells what it is. Otherwise, you will tell, oh, this Turiya is something. Turiya is like this, Turiya is like that, Turiya is like that. Will tell. But no, na. Always the mind has to be taken from what we think Turiya as. Turiya is not, nobody can think Turiya as something. Nobody can think of. Because Turiya is Turiya. Turiya is me. I cannot think myself as a son, as a brother, as a husband, as a father-in-law. I cannot think of I am who I am. I am is only I am. I am cannot be something. But when I'm telling I am a dad, that is with respect to somebody, and somebody is telling me, recognizing me that way. I cannot recognize that I cannot tell that I am a dad. Somebody has to call me as dad. And that recognition, that identity is not really the real identity because it is a conditional identity. And we can tell that it is a role. If we want to tell something, we can to describe ourselves, yes, that is a role. But really, I am not a dad. Then you may be mom, I am not the mom. You may be brother, I am not the brother. You may be the sister, I am not the sister. Like that it will go. Because when our mind is detached from all kinds of conditioning, dad, son is the conditioning, then I become dad. Then wife is the conditioning, then I become the husband. Then with respect to dad, I become the son. These are all conditionings. When our attention is withdrawn from the conditioning, then I become myself. Okay, I cannot tell that I am the dad. That is not true. That is a conditioned identity. Others are telling, that's why I'm repeating the same thing what others tell regarding me. And they are telling because they want to get something. If they tell that you are my dad or you are my mom, then we'll give money or give the tuition fee or will cook food. If they don't tell, so it is a kind of business kind of thing. Little benefit is attached to that. Somebody is giving us a certificate, that's all. But we should not think that I am the dad, I am the mom. No. When we are thinking I am, not I am something. Then I will abide in myself. That's why now word is very much needed. Then it was told that removal of ignorance and realization of the self, there are samakala. Samakala means at the same time it happens. There is no time gap. There is na antariyam. There is no time gap in between that. And after the ignorance regarding self is removed, for the knowledge of the self, nothing has to be done. Only something is to be done to remove the ignorance. That's all. Purify the mind, read scripture, do viveka. But to recognize ourselves as the pure awareness, nothing has to be done because self is Swatasiddha. It will shine forth. Then he gave two examples. One is the pot and one is the wood. Splitting the wood and removing the darkness from the pot. In case of wood, he told, suppose we want to split the wood. Splitting the wood means breaking the relationship between two parts of the same trunk. When we are trying to split a trunk or piece of wood, that means, and they are related. Now they are bound. The two parts are bound. So if you can separate those two parts, then they are already split. Then after removing the relationship between them, we don't have to do something else to split the wood. Separating the relationship between the two parts is splitting the wood. No more work is needed. Or in case of pot, suppose the pot is darkness is there and we are not able to see the pot, we bring the light. By bringing the light, we just remove the darkness. Darkness is gone and the pot is already there, pot reveals. Like how people, all of us will tell, I have read scripture, then I am to do sadhana. That is a wrong understanding. Very wrong understanding. Swamiji, I am studying the scripture for so many years, but I am not doing sadhana, so I am not coming to study group anymore. Thank you so much. Because one will go in a different direction. If really we have understood, that is the thing we have to do, that's all. If you have studied that Atma, there is something called gross body, subtle body, causal body, and then there is Sthula Sarira, Sukshma Sarira, Karana Sarira, Sthula Sukshma Karana Sarira, Vyatiriktah. There also it told Na. Vyatiriktah means Na. That means there is something called Atma is there, something. Sthula Sarira, Sukshma Sarira, and Karana Sarira, not only these three things are there, is another thing is there. But what is that? It is not the Sthula, it is not the Sukshma, it is not the Karana. So that, and that can be understood only by reading the scripture, not by doing something. meditation is not done to create knowledge. Meditation is done to abide in that knowledge. Knowledge takes place when we study. Like this, we are going to school and college. So when the teacher teaches, we get knowledge. And if suppose, Swamiji, I didn't understand. Now I'll go home and I'll study. Then I'll understand. No, understanding doesn't happen. Memorization can be by going through that again. We can memorize, but understanding takes place when we listen. Anything. This is a tree. I understand it as a tree. That's all. Because somebody told me this is a tree, I understand this is a tree. Then how I'll have clarity regarding the tree? Then I'll say, no, it is not a dog, it is not a cat. I cannot put anything, I cannot compare or I cannot associate the tree with anything else. That's why Nishidhatmaka sentences have to be there. तेषां छेदि अवयव संबंध वियोग व्यतिरेकेण अन्यतर अवयवे अपि सिद्धिः व्याप्रियत इत्युक्तं स्यात्. That means the व्याप्रियत means it is just were to only separate. That's all. The both the sides or both the parts of the branch has to be only separated. By what? By a spade, by an axe. But after separating, we don't have to do anything, already split. In the same way, after removing the ignorance regarding the Atma, nothing more has to be done. And then how Atma will be realized? Atma will reveal itself, because Atma is not this. Atma, that means I am not this, I am not that, I am not that, I am not that, I am not that. Then who are you? I am myself. That's all. Because I want to negate everything. Yesam punah tamah apanayana vyatirekena ghatadhigame pramanam vyapriyate tesam chedi avayava sambandha vyoga vyatirekena anyatara avayave api siddhi vyapriyate ituktam syat. Same thing what I told, that abhayava sambandha. Abhayava means the limbs. Sambandha, relationship. Vyoga, breaking. Breaking the relationship between the different parts of a tree. Once that is done, then so far as splitting the wood is concerned, we don't have to do anything. Already split. After splitting, we may not have to do something to the parts which are separated. Then he gave the example of the ghata which was covered by the darkness. Na antariyakam ghata vijnanam, not pramana phalam. That means the removal of the ignorance, removal of the darkness which is covering the pot, and seeing the pot. There is no time gap between them. And after that, the role of pramana is over. Here the role is knowledge, light. The role of light is over, because already the pramana did its job. After that, it is of no use at all. What pramana did? Pramana made that person to recognize himself. And by vairagya, I distanced myself who I am not, but I recognized myself by the pramana. When I read the book is the pramana, which is the pramana. That pramana told me that I am the Atma. I recognize that one. Then the other part, I am not a son, I am not a father, that is denied. Okay. Then nacha tadvat api atmani adhyaropita अंतःप्रज्ञत्वादि अविवेककरणे प्रवृत्तस्य प्रतिषेध विज्ञान प्रमाणस्य अनुपादित 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 सित अंतःप्रज्ञत्वादिनि वृत्ति व्यतिरेकेण तुरीये व्यापारः उपपत्तिः तुरीये व्यापार उपपत्तिः. That means in the matter of turiya, that means when we are discussing regarding the turiya, from pravrutasya pratiseda vijnana pramanasya means pramana is the means of knowledge. Pramana pravrutasya pratiseda vijnana. And what is this means of knowledge? Pratiseda vijnana. The nature of this pramana, the method of gaining knowledge or the means of gaining knowledge, the nature of that means of knowledge is pratiseda vijnana. Pratiseda means negate, vijnana no. Negate and no. And what to negate? Tadvat api atmani adhyaropita. Atmani adhyaropita. Whatever is superimposed on the self, that to be negated. And what is the method we are adopting? Pratiseda vijnana. What is the means we are adopting? Pratiseda vijnana. And that pramana, it will do both pratiseda and it will do the vijnana. It will help us in vijnana. And whatever thing that is superimposed, antapragyatwadi. Antaprajna, bahisprajna, and prajnana. Antapragyatwadi vivekakarane. Vivekakarana means when we are trying to distinguish the turiya from the Vishwa, Tejas and Prajna, we have to use the Viveka. We have to separate. First, we have to separate. We have to separate the Turiya from the Vishwa, Tejas and Prajna. Antapragyatwadi nibruti samakalameva. That means the realization of the Turiya and the nibruti. Nibruti means negation of the antaprajna, bahisprajna, etc. Samakalameva. It happens at the same time. What does it mean? That means when we tell that antaprajnatwadi nibruti, what does it mean? Pramatru twadi bheda nibruti. One is a pramata, prameya, prama. There is a triputty. Now, in every worldly experience, there is a division between the experiencer, experienced, and experiencing. There is a difference is there. But that triputty, this difference is not there in the Turiya. So he's telling that pramatrutwadi veda nibruti. That means when it is told that antaprajnatwadi nibruti, that means antaprajna, bahisprajna, they will lose their differences. Nibruti means it will be removed. What does it mean? Then the pramata, prameya, prama, this triputty will not be anymore. That means everything will become one. The knower, known, and knowing, they will become one. Tathata vakshati jnate dvaitam na vidyate. So it is told in the Mandukya Upanishad, jnate dvaitam na bhavati. That means when knowledge takes place, dvaita cannot stay. Dvaita and knowledge, they cannot go together. Na vidyate, from Mandukya Upanishad. Jnanasya, and it is told, explain a little more. Jnanasya dvaita nibruti kshana vyatirekena kshanantara na avasthanat. Okay. Kshanantara na avasthat. Kshanantara anavasthanat. Anavasthanat means sthana means staying, existing. Anavasthana means not staying. Jnanasya Dvaita Nivruti Kshana Vyatirekena. That means the Dvaita will be removed what? Kshana. Kshana means immediately it will be removed. The knowledge, the misconception regarding the Atma, when it is removed, the knowledge regarding the Atma will automatically done. That he is telling. That is Kshananta. There is no fraction of difference at all. Avasthana, avasthane cha anavastha aprasangat dvaita nivruti. Avasthana means in the um, where everything is existing. That means Vishwa, Tejas and Prajna, where they are existing, that is the Avasthana. Like how we are staying in Chicago. That means our Avasthana is in Chicago. Avasthana means in the thing where it is existing. Avasthane cha anavastha aprasangat. Dvaita anivritihi. If the where everything is staying, where which is the supporter for everything, in that we cannot have Dvaita. Like I am staying on the land. You are staying on the land. He is staying in the land. Tree is staying on the land. That land cannot be, that supporter cannot be many. It is the land, the earth is a supporter. All other things can be different. You, me, the tree, the mountain, they can be different. But the who is supporting cannot be two or three. Tasmat pracheda vijnana pramana vyapara samakala eva. That's why we can, when we are negating, we can negate in one shot. Not that, okay, I negated the tree, now I am to negate the lion. I am negate the lion, now I am to negate the jackal. No. When we negate is samakala, at the one time, everything will be, because they are all illusory. We can negate. But what we cannot negate is the support. That supporter, the substratum, we cannot negate. Anta pragyatvadi anartha nivriti. If we and why you can negate? Because it's that anartha. Anartha means there is no use at all. Suppose I am not there and I want to use some cosmetic. For cosmetic to be used, first my body has to be there. Body is not there, but I want to use some kind of cream. That is not possible. Or I want to use the dress. That is not possible. But the body is one. In the same way, the Turiya is one, and on that one, all these Vishwa, Tejas and Prajna, they are superimposed, and they are the anartha. And now we are thinking that Vishwa, Tejas and Prajna as myself, that is the anartha. Anartha means we are making a big mistake. And then we read, by telling Nanta Pragyam, Tejas is denied. Already you have read that one. By telling now Bais Prajna, Vishwa is negated. By telling now Ubhayata Pragyam, that the Antarala Avastha, that is between the Jagrata and Supna, that Avastha is negated. By telling Prajnana Ghana, Susitya Avastha is negated. And which is like Bija Bhava, which is like the Bija Bhava, which is like the a state in which everything is remaining in unmanifest. Everything is there, but they're unmanifest. So we cannot see the differences. By telling na pragyam, can somebody tell what do you mean by na pragyam?
Not unconscious.
Yes, na pragyam sarva vishaya gyantru pratishara. Sarva gyantru. That means I am not the knower of anything. Generally have to, I am knowing this, I am knowing that. That is also, I am not the pramatru, pragyatru. I am not the knower, na pragyam. That means simultaneously all Vishwa, Tejas and Prajna all are negated by telling na pragyam. Then what is the last one in that? The next one?
Na pragyam.
What's the meaning of na pragyam? Can somebody tell why na pragyam is told?
Something that is insentient, as opposed to unconscious.
Now we may think that I may be inert. If I am not the anta pragya, bahis pragya, and all those things, okay, I am not something nothing, but I may be inert, because inert things are they don't know the inside, not outside. I may be inert. No, it is told this Turiya is na pragyam iti chaitanya pratisedaha. Chaitanya is consciousness. Chaitanya is inert. That means I am not something inert. Then the Purvapakshi is telling, okay, you negated everything. That means my own existence is negated. You negated Vishwa, Tejas, and Prajna. But you know, in my experience, when in the waking state, I am experiencing the world. So I am Vishwa. And in the dream state, I am experiencing. So I am Tejas. In the deep sleep state, I am experiencing, which we tell when we get up. That means all the Vishwatas and Prajna actually me. And by telling that, negating Vishwatas and Prajna, you are negating myself. You are telling that way you don't exist. This is the question. And you are doing very wisely by like how we are negating the snake. First we are telling the snake is illusion, then we deny the existence of the snake. Two things you are doing. Here also you are doing, first you are telling that Vishwatas and Prajna, they are illusory in nature, just like the snake, and then you tell that I don't exist. I cannot take it. I cannot take it. Then the Siddhanta is telling, Katham punaha anta pragyatwadinam atmani gamyamananam. Atmani gamyamanam means in the Atma, all these things are taking place. Gamyamananam. Gamyamanam means gone. That means in the Atma only anta prajna, bahis prajna, and uhayata prajna, Vishwatas and Prajna are only in Atma. They are not something different from the Atma. Punaha anta pragyatwadi nam atmani gamyamananam rajvadu sarpadivat प्रतिषेधात् सत्वं गम्यत इति उच्यते. Sattvam gamyata. That means if you are trying, gamyata means understanding. If you are telling me to understand that these Vishwa, Tejas and Prajna, they are to be just negated, just like the snake is negated on the rope, then that is too much. But Bhagavan Shankaracharya is telling, if you are thinking like that, if the question is coming in your mind like that, iti uchyate, then this is the explanation. The answer is how you are thinking that is not true. This is the explanation. You have to think in this way. Jnana Swarupa Avisesepi Itaretara Vyavicharat Rajvadau Iva Sarpadharadi Vikalpita Bhedavat Sarvatra Abhyavicharat Jnana Swarupasya Satyatvam. What he is telling, why, how we decide the illusory nature of a thing. How can you tell that Vishwa, Tejas and Prajna, they are illusion? How can you tell that tree, mountain, all these things is illusion? How can you tell that? Here is the reason given. Bhagavan Shankaracharya is telling why we are negating Vishwa, Tejas and Prajna, which you are thinking as yourself, because there is a reason. It is not that to tell it, no, I am not Vishwa, I am not Tejas, by telling that it really doesn't mean anything. Itare Jnana Swarupa Avisesepi. Jnana Swarupa means of the nature of pure awareness or of the nature of consciousness. Jnana Swarupa Avisesepi. Avishesha means this Gyansarpa, who is the Gyansarpa? Turiya. In the Turiya, though Vishwa, Tajas and Pragyan, they are not Abhishesapi, though they are not different. Though they are not different than Turiya, this is not the sloka, the seventh sloka explanation from the Karika. We are reading this one. The seventh sloka, where it told na, all those things are there. Na anta prajna, na bahis prajna. Why no word is used? That the Purvapakshi is asking that if you are telling neti, it is not Vishwa, it is not Tajasati Prajna. Nobody tells like that. If something is that we have already studied, okay. But it is the now we are reading the explanation of on the.
So, Swamiji, I recently joined. I bought Gurudev's commentary. Which section is Karika in this?
It is the now in the book Karika is not there. Only the Mandukya Upanishad is there, 12 slokas. But the Karika, in the explanation, Karika is there. But I am reading the Karika from the book, from the Karika book.
Oh, okay.
Karika is the on the Upanishad. Upanishad is 12 slokas only. That is all very small Upanishad. But on that, Gaudapada is Bhagavan Shankaracharya's Guru's Guru.
Yep.
He has written Karika. Okay. And on the Karika, Bhagavan Shankaracharya has written commentary. That commentary we are reading now. And that commentary is not there, and the Sanskrit lines are not there in the book. Explanations are there in our Puja Gurudev has given, but he has quoted from different places, but it is not a systematic, like how I'm reading, then I'm telling. That is the way Bhagavan Shankaracharya has written the commentary.
Okay. Thank you.
It's called it now. It is Bhagavan Shankaracharya's work.
So, Swamiji, Bhagwan Shankaracharya's commentary on Karika is not here. Gurudev has not
written, but he has given he has quoted in the.
He has quoted,
okay. He has quoted, but he has not quoted everything because otherwise it will be a huge book.
Huge book, I see.
But how much is needed for us, he has written. But it is. I want you to test the sweetness of the Karika and Bhashya. That's why I am reading from here. But obviously I can tell the meaning and then go.
Swamiji, we also chant the Karikas along with the shlokas. I mean the mantras, right?
Yes, we chanted.
Yeah. So the Karikas are there in the book, and the commentary is given by Puja Gurudev. But you are referring to Shankar.
Commentary is not given.
Yeah.
Commentary is we are reading from here.
Yes. Yes.
Jnana Swarupa Avisheshepi. Avishesha means even though it is not different, even though it is not this Vishwa, Tejas and Pragya, even though they are not different from the Jnana Swarupa means of the nature of knowledge. Which is of the nature of knowledge? Turiya. Itaretara Vivichara. But there is one problem with them, with the Vishwa, Tejas and Pragya. Itaretara Vivichara. They are Itaretara means in between them, they change. Vishwa becomes Tajas, Tajas becomes Pragyan, Pragyan becomes Vishwa. They change all the time. Okay. Since they are changing, that's why they are asat. If something is remaining the same all the time, then it is not asat. That is the logic the scripture is using. If a tree, yesterday we saw the tree, it was one way. Then today we see another way. Day after tomorrow it will be seen another way. That means nothing regarding the tree is correct. It is just a changing phenomena. We are seeing that as a solid thing. That means asat. If it is sat, will not change. If the tree is how we see it all the time, then we cannot negate. Only the asat part of a thing we can negate, or the illusory part of something we can negate, but we cannot negate the reality of a thing. The real part we cannot negate. In the ornament, the name and form we can negate, because name and form is not there. We just give a form and give a different name. Like when somebody is getting married, then when they come to our home, then we change their first name, last name, everything. And actually, that can be changed too. If you have changed, it can be changed another time. People change religion. If they have changed from Christian to Hinduism, then they can be from Hinduism, they can go to Christian too. Because they are not real, it is a changing thing. Gyan Swarupa Avisheshepi, though they are not different from the Vishwatayasana Pragyan, they are not different from the Turiya, which is me, which is Atma, previously we have seen. Itere Tara Vyavicharat, in between them they go on changing forms. Charat, Jwado Iva, Sarpadhara. That in the one rope is there, that rope we are seeing as the Sarpa, is the snake. Then Dhara, Jaladhara, as a streak of water. Then as a Bhuchidra, as a crack on the earth. Or as a danda, or as a stick. That means which is unreal. The Bhuchidra, the Jaladhara, the danda, they are unreal. Because one time the rope is looking like this. I tell her, no, there is a snake. Then another time, same rope is there, I'm not able to see the rope. Then I tell her, no, it is not a snake. It is a danda, it is a stick. Then some other time, I'll tell you, no, it is a crack on the earth. Then I'll tell you, no, it is Jaladhara, it is a streak of water. That means they are all unreal. If they are real, then I will see only one thing. Like our picture, if we take from the childhood days till now, which one we are? That is the way Vedanta decides which is real, which is unreal, which is illusory, and which is real. Sarpadharadi Vikalpita. Bhedavat. That means how the one rope is appearing as Sarpa, Dhara, Adi means as the Bhuchidra and Danda. Bhedavat. And there is difference between them. Bhuchidra is not the Danda. Danda is not the Sarpa. Sarpa is not the Jaladhara. Sarvatra Abhyavicharat. Yes, sir. Bhyavichara is happening in the snake. Bhyavichara is changing. Snake is changing to Danda. Danda is changing to Bhuchidra. Bhuchidra is changing to Jaladhara. But amidst all the changes, something is Abhyavichara. Abhyavichara means it is not changing at all. And which is not changing? Jnana Swarupasya. That means the Turiya is not changing. That means it is Satya. That is only Sat. And we are interested in that. That means I am a steady entity. Everything around me is changing. This realization will make a person to remain balanced in every situation, because I am not changing. Around me, everything is changing. And for the changes to happen, they need a real substratum, and I am that real thing. Without me, changes will be not occur, will not be noticed. But I am not changing. I am the changeless in the changing. The Vishwatva of the Vishwa, Pragyatva of the Tajasatva of the Tajas, Pragyatva of the Pragya, they are changing. But Jnatva is not changing at all. that Jnana is always remaining the same. He understood the Purva Pakshi, he was paying a lot of attention, he understood. Then he's telling, Susupte Bhavicharati iti Chetna. But no, in the Susupti, consciousness is changing. Because in the Susupti, I don't know anything. So there is no consciousness. So there is Bhavichar is there. It was there in the waking state, it was there in the dream state. The deep state is not there. That is the way he is asking. Then Bhagavan Shankaracharya is telling, Susuptasya Anubhuya Manatvat. No, in the Susupti, self is there because experience of the Susupti is there. That's why I tell that, oh, I had a good sleep. If there is no experience or I didn't know anything, if somebody asks, why you are so happy? Were you eating some laddu or something? No, I didn't see anything there. I can tell that. That means that experience is continuing. Susuptasya anubhuya manata. Susupta means who is having the susupti, who is sleeping. The deep sleeper is the susupta. Susuptasya anubhuya manatva. The who is the experiencer in the deep sleep state? The pragya. Pragya is experienced. So we cannot tell consciousness is not there because that consciousness is only the prajna. Nahi vijñāto vijñāte viparilopa vidyate. Vijñāto vijñāte. The knower of the knowledge cannot be negated. Knowledge can be negated, but the knower of the knowledge cannot be negated. The seer of the seen can be negated, but the seer cannot be negated. Suppose I will tell that, I saw that the tree is not there. The absence of the tree we can see the absence of the tree, but I cannot tell that I am not there. I cannot tell. Vijñāto vijñāte viparilopa. Viparilopa means the absence of the vijñāto vijñāte, of the knower of the known cannot be denied, cannot be made absent. It is Srutehe. This is told in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Okay, what is after that? Up to what we finish now in the sloka?
7, Swamiji. From the mantra, we finished the 7. From
Seven.
No, not 7. Something is there. We didn't finish everything.
We haven't done the adrishtam avyavaharyam.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to do all the.
What do you mean by adrishtam? We have already discussed that in the 3-4 class before. We have already discussed that. So please, of course, Gurudev has written. Puja Gurudev has written commentary. So you read that. We'll finish. Maybe 10 minutes we'll take next time, and we'll finish that one. Then we'll go to the Karika part. Do you remember why it is called adrishtam?
It can't be.
It can't be seen.
By
Can't be
cannot be
seen.
sensed by senses.
Yeah.
And therefore it is.
It is not a
Avyavaharyam.
knowledge. It is not some knowledge we can acquire through senses.
That's why it is avyavaharyam. Avyavaharyam means
You
Not
cannot
transaction.
transact. It's not
there
transaction.
cannot be any transaction. We cannot transact with Atma. Because of Atma, all transactions are happening, but nobody can transact Atma. I want to see the Atma, I want to touch the Atma. Like how people tell that, I saw God and he brought the coins and he touched my ear. Like how people tell. No, avyavaharyam. Agrahyam. Agrahyam means karmendriya. That means it cannot be hold
Grasped.
to the it cannot hold to the organs of action. That means to the leg we cannot touch, with the hand we cannot hold. Okay, like by the organ of speech we cannot describe this kind of thing. Then alakshanam. What is the meaning of alakshanam?
Cannot be pointed out, but the
Lakshana means it doesn't have lakshana. It doesn't have the qualities.
All it is.
That's why it cannot be indicated. Okay. Then alingam. That's why it is alingam. Since it is alakshanam, so it is alingam. It cannot be indicated. Linga means indicating. It cannot be indicated. Alingam iti etat ananuneyam. Ananuneyam means it cannot be inferred. It cannot be inferred. We cannot, like how suppose there is smoke in the mountain, and from a distance we are seeing the smoke, then we infer that there must be fire. That is an inference. We cannot infer Atma. Inference is possible only when something is previously seen. Then only we can infer. If you have seen the fire before, then only we can tell fire and smoke together we have seen. Then we can tell that, okay, there must be fire by seeing the smoke. Though we are not seeing the fire, but still we can conclude that there is fire. Since it is alakshanam and alingam, so it is athintam. We cannot think of that, because to think of something, that something should have some qualities. If there is no quality, then we cannot think of. Ataha eva avapadesyam. That means it cannot be described. Again, description depends.
Jati kriya sambandha.
Jati kriya sambandha, guna, jati guna kriya sambandha. So we cannot do that. Ekatma pratyasaram, that we'll see next time. Ekatma pratyasaram. Do you remember what is ekatma pratyasaram? Okay, we will see next time. Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Gacchade Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namah. Hari Om.